Block. Good morning and welcome to Leading West Michigan, a show about success and featuring local leaders and people in local business. And now here's your host, Ryan Howe.
Good morning, everyone. We have a great show for you today. I'm Ryan Howe, founder of Summit Business Guides. It's where I help businesses with strategic and succession planning so they can grow their businesses faster than they ever thought possible. You can learn more at summitbusinessguides.com. So this show is all about learning about our guest's leadership journey. And joining us today is Dr. Mark Forner, the Mason County Eastern Schools K-12 principal. Good morning.
Good morning, Ryan.
Hey, it's good to have you here.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah, I know. So just so we get it out of the way right off the bat, I am on the school board. Again, he was the principal. There, you were not forced in any way, shape, or form to be here. There's a just normal request, right?
That is correct.
Yeah, it's great. So, no, I really appreciate you coming on here. You're the first of hopefully a slew of basically leaders from the schools that we're going to have on here to be able to have the conversations about how they got to where they're currently at and what they've been doing. So with that, you're not local. So where are you from originally?
Well, first of all, it's my pleasure to be here, Ryan. This is a tremendous opportunity. I just want to thank you for that. So actually, I'm a Hart native. Mm-hmm. My people, my family, my folks are from Walkerville, and my mom and dad migrated to Hart from Walkerville in the early 1960s, and that's where I was born and raised.
Okay, so Walkerville. So yeah. Walkerville and Hart. And so what does your family do down in Hart, or what did you have in Hart that was there?
Yeah, so my dad ran an insurance agency, and that I later on became a partner with, and so he was the longest tenured insurance agent for Farm Bureau Insurance in the state of Michigan. So he had an office on the corner across the street from the fairgrounds on Polk Road in Hart, and he just retired a couple of years ago in his late 70s. So that was a pretty good run.
That's an extremely good run. 70 and still doing insurance. That's pretty wild. I mean, you probably had the opportunity to see people basically through the entire evolutions of their businesses that they've come on, or I'm sure he's probably got stories for days about some things.
He does. He was a big agricultural insurer, and so he 3 and 4 generations of farmers, and so that was a very cool thing.
All right. So for you, again, for those just joining us, this is Leading West Michigan with Ryan Howe, and we've got Dr. Mark Forner, the principal from Mason County Eastern Schools. So you basically, again, the migration over to Hart. So is that where you did all your schooling at for your young? Basically, did you start kindergarten there, or where did you? Yeah.
So my folks, they bought a small ranch house 2 blocks from school, and so my brother and sister and I, we walked literally every day the 2 blocks to school from the time we were in kindergarten until we graduated as seniors, and so. Great community. We lived in the neighborhood with lots of young families, so there was always a basketball thumping in the driveway or guys playing baseball in a vacant lot, and so it was just a great time, a great place to grow up.
Yeah, those are the things about small towns that I just absolutely love, because as long as you had basically even numbers, you could get some sort of 3-on-3, 4-on-4 going, or
exactly.
some sort of something happening there. But yeah, and then. Especially being in that area, again, growing up, I remember many springs where the sun would come out, but it'd only be like 39 or 40. As long as the sun was out, you out there chip the ice off the actual court and go play somewhere.
That's
I'm imagining.
Exactly right.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So when you're in school there, so how did you like school?
Well, it's interesting. I was one of those kids. I absolutely loved school, and so I hated to miss even when we had a dental or an orthodontist appointment. My parents instilled a love of education, and so for both my brother and my sister and I, it was not a matter of if we would go on to college, but where we would go on to college. Okay. Yeah, and so that was instilled in us at a very young age. Yeah.
So with that, having an enjoyment of school, did you have any mentors or anybody that you remember that kind of pushed you in a particular direction, or maybe helped you stay towards that direction from time to time?
Well, it's interesting. You'd asked me that question, to think about that question this week, and I've given it quite a bit of thought. So I was blessed. Many of my friends, fathers, at that time, 60s and 70s, mom stayed home and dad went off to work. But most of my mentors were my friends' fathers, who would work at their jobs, and then they would go and serve on the church committee, the township board, the city council, the county board, and so this idea of public service at an early age. It was just normal because all my friends' parents did that, and so that in terms of mentorship, my father-in-law Edwin Johnson was the Golden Township trustee or clerk for 35 years. One of my best friends, Dad, Rich Hodges, car dealership, served on hospital boards and church boards, and then coached Little League, and so that really resonated with me. And so even today, now, along with having the best job in the world as the K-12 principal at Mason County Eastern, I also serve on the West Shore Educational Service District Board, and I also coach basketball. That's just kind of been the way we roll.
Oh, I get that, and we'll come back to the base for the EST as well.
Yeah.
I want to have more questions later
Sure.
on that. So I tell you, that's one of the things that I've just consistently found, though, is that when you, for me in particular, but I just remember my friends' parents. The fathers more so. Young kid, you get boy, you get that connection with them, whatever. But same thing with moms. But if they were their professional, the way that they would come and talk to you,
Yes.
like for me,
Yes.
there weren't a lot of parents that didn't talk to all of us like we were little short adults.
Right.
Like they hold us to those standards and and also would come by and talk about the work they were doing in the community. I think they understood the responsibility of sharing why they're going out and the good things that they're able to do by being on those boards and stuff. So absolutely. So basically got a family full of people that just love school. And then, so you went on to college. So where'd you end up going to college at?
So, I grew up loving sports. All my friends played sports. Their older brothers played sports. And so I, besides spending a lot of time on the beach at Pentwater in the summertime, we played all the sports. And so I actually attended Muskegon Community College on a basketball scholarship. And I left Muskegon Community College and then went to Kalamazoo College and graduated from there with a Bachelor of Arts in Economics.
In economics. Yeah. Okay, so basketball. So that's interesting. So the sports was able to get you started as far as for your community college. Right. And when you made your way onto Kalamazoo, was that did you continue to play, or were you at that point? Well,
that's a good question. I tried to play and then tried to balance what was going on in the classroom, and it was a pretty big leap from community college to Kalamazoo College. So I hit the books.
Okay.
And, yeah.
Nothing wrong with making those type of adult decisions like that,
Exactly.
So why economics?
Well, like most small town guys, I wanted to figure out how to leave our small town and become a business guy and make $1 million. So I figured the easiest way to do that was through economics. And so I've always was very comfortable with numbers, had a business mindset. And so after graduating from Kalamazoo College, I went and worked as a pricing guy for an insurance company in Grand Rapids. I always had a love of numbers, and I was on my way to, becoming a millionaire. So I got a little sidetracked along the way. I got married my high school sweetheart, and then I followed a guy for the insurance company I worked for. He started his own insurance company out in Hershey, Pennsylvania. So my wife and I got married, and we lived out there for 5 years. Before we decided to come back, and I joined the family insurance business, and we're sort of family, raise kids, and live happily ever after, and so that's what we did.
Okay, so again, if you're just joining us, we're talking with Dr. Mark Forner here on Leading West Michigan, and just that was a lot to unpack there in a little bit there. So let me see if I can reel that back there. So I mean, I'm not going to let you get away with just glossing over that you married your high school sweetheart like it was just like you put socks on. So no. So would she end up going to college where you were at, or were you back visiting? How'd that go?
Well, she's a little younger. She graduated from Ferris.
Okay.
And so I went out and I went to Pennsylvania for a year ahead of time, and left her with all the wedding plans and all that good stuff. Okay. And then we got married, and then she moved out.
Yeah, I don't. For the most part. Excuse me. I think most of us have left the wedding plans, regardless if there is distance or not.
If you're a smart guy, that's what you do. Right.
Excuse me. Yeah, you just agree and say, yes, honey, that's exactly what we'd like to have. So
not a lot. That's what I do. Not a lot. Yeah.
Okay. So how was it out in Hershey? Besides the little bit of chocolate in the air.
Man, it really does smell like chocolate. It does all the time, and the people were lovely, and it was a great experience. Traveled the East Coast, but the idea we knew all along that we wanted to come back and start a family and raise our kids so that they could have the same small town experience that we enjoyed, be around their grandparents. And so that's what we did.
Okay. Yeah, so you got 5 years, made your way back here, and where did you, and you landed in Hart? Is that where you went back to? Okay, so basically boomerang.
Exactly, that's exactly what we did.
And so the family really was, the family atmosphere, raising the kids in this area was the driving force behind that.
Absolutely,
okay.
absolutely.
All right, so got back, and then you basically joined the family business. So how was that transition? Because you left as one person,
right, and
you came back as your own adult, having made adult decisions, have all those things going on.
Sure.
And how was that integration back with Dad, I guess?
Well, that's a great question. So we became partners and in the insurance business, and I was adamant that the split be 51-49. Where he had built that thing, and it was very successful and great reputation, high integrity guy. And I just wanted to learn so much by being around him and enjoy working with him every single day. And so it's one of the rare partnerships, I think, that survived 15 years. It was very successful. Then I had a change of plans, my trajectory towards becoming a school administrator. So we part, and in some ways, he's still my best friend.
Okay,
so,
that's great. Yeah, it's well, that's good. That again, it sounds from what you've said from your dad, and I've heard you talk a little bit about him before. Is that understanding of like, okay, I'm here to help. How can we do this? And come in and want to make sure that you're successful.
Absolutely.
Regardless of who it is and where they're at. So you talk about that transition. So you're doing insurance, and then at some point the decision was made into school administration. Can you talk the audience through that? Like, okay, I'm dealing with these tables and figuring out basically what this number needs to be to basically young folks that you're leading to basically be their next selves.
Well, it's not unlike you, Ryan. I'm enjoying my life, working with my dad, raising our kids. One day the phone rang, and it was someone asking if I'd be interested in filling an open school board position at Hart Public Schools. Yeah. So exactly the same way that you got Michigan County Eastern Board, I got on the Hart board, and so here we are.
Okay,
so,
fair enough.
So I did that, and at that time, the district Hart was struggling financially and in terms of enrollment. And so I happened to be the right guy at the right time, had some business background, helped him with some of the more financial aspects. And so I did that for 8 years. And I'd come home, and I'd spend more time talking about school stuff than insurance stuff. And one day my wife said, well, geez, you really seem passionate about this school thing. Have you ever thought about becoming a school administrator? And as a matter of fact, I had. And so it was very much a family decision. And then I decided to go back to school with the goal of becoming a small town or rural school administrator. So that's when I enrolled into Western Michigan's PhD program, met some great people, great professors, and basically worked during the day and went to school at night for a couple of years until I was able to land that.
Now, before that, you got in here as far as your MBA.
Yeah.
So I don't want to skip over that step because that's an important piece there. So you went back, got your MBA. Was that to help out with the business, or what was the
I actually got that before I got back into the business. When I was living in Grand Rapids,
okay,
still single, but still had discretionary time.
Gotcha.
I did that. It was a weekend program at Notre Dame, and so I attended on the weekends and got that before. And I finished that up just as before my wife and I moved out to Pennsylvania.
Okay, yeah, that's I tell you, that's one of the things that I've especially my time in the military, but also the more time I'm spending with folks and just learning about their journeys, that night school, weekend, whatever, it was in its infancy then, but now if you want to go back and better yourself, you can say you got your associate's degree, you can go and do night classes to get your bachelor's, or you can or online to be able to get that. Same thing, I was basically around the planet in different areas. I was in Kuwait in basically a fiberboard hut, taking classes back in the day on a base. Yeah, it was crazy when email was really starting to be a thing. Yes, that's how old I am.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's great to be able to do that. So, but with that though, why did you want the MBA though? I guess. What was the? Well,
I was still on track to become a millionaire.
Okay.
Point, so I figured I need to learn as much about the business world.
Okay.
And it was great. The Notre Dame experience was great. and I learned so much. And then I was able to help. I did all the payroll, all the back accounting things when I joined the family insurance business, and so those skills really helped out. They really paid off.
Again, we're continuing our conversation with Dr. Mark Forner from Mason County Eastern Schools, and yeah, so let's go to the next slide here with that doctorate, because I think we were talking before we got started here. The great thing about having your doctorate is that you get to wear the pretty cool outfit at the graduations. You got a whole different slew you have there. So, right. But what was the? I'm sure that wasn't the reason you went after that though. So
no, it's I was intent on becoming a school administrator, but again, I came from a non-traditional business background, so I figured many school boards or school districts might be reluctant to hire an insurance guy to become a school administrator unless I had the proper schooling and training. And so that was really my intent, was to learn school administration, because I knew business administration.
Sure.
And so the best way to do that, I thought, was through Western's PhD program.
Okay, yeah. And how was that going through that, as far as your advisors and everything? As far as were they fantastic? Or?
They were absolutely fantastic. I had more fun in that program. I have lots of friends who are now superintendents throughout the state. A good friend, John Van Wagner, is the superintendent of Traverse City area public schools, and it was just terrific, because again, most of these people were already full-time school administrators, and they were going to school at night and going to school on the weekends. And so I was a little different, because I was in the business world and going to school at night and on the weekends.
So that, again, as far as, and it's one thing I like about graduate school, being able to go through there, is you spend that postgraduate stuff and everything. It's just a whole different world, because at that point you're working and you're around professionals that are simply just there. How can we help you be successful?
Right.
It's a really great environment that I've always been trying to push on as many folks as I can. Yeah. So again, it also opens doors.
It does.
That's a good part of that. So when you finished up, where was your next stop after your?
So, yeah, this is kind of a weird deal. So one day I'm at the orthodontist with one of our kids, and I'm reading a Time magazine article, and on the front page is a guy by the name of Michelle Rhee, and the article was on an outfit called Teach for America. So I started reading this article, and I started breaking out in a cold sweat, because it sounded like something I was very passionate about. So for some people who don't know, Teach for America it's a version of the Peace Corps. It's a member of AmeriCorps, where typically young, high-performing college graduates right out of school volunteer, give up 2 years to go teach in the inner city or rural remote areas. And so I was reading this article about the same time I was finishing up my PhD, and I got to thinking, Forner, if you really want some credibility as a school administrator, you got to spend some time in the classroom. Mm-hmm. So anyway, I went to my wife and I said, "Hey, I got this crazy idea," and
I can just imagine that conversation.
yeah, she was underwhelmed, to say the least. But yeah, I've been blessed. She's just a wonderful woman, and I said, "Now the chances I'll get accepted, because it's pretty competitive to get in, and it's like they reject like 85% of the people." But apparently, for whatever reason, maybe they needed a token old guy. But I was accepted, and so I had a brother who lives in the suburbs of Indianapolis, and so I was assigned to teach in the inner city Indianapolis public schools for 3 years. And so we decided not to relocate, keep the boys in school at heart. And so for the first 3 years, I drove back and forth every weekend. I was the uncle who lived above the garage at my brother's house, and with his kids, and so I did that for 3 years, taught in inner city Indianapolis. Left there after 3 years, and then worked for a couple of charter schools as a school administrator. Mm-hmm. So I was down there for 7 years, commuting back and forth, until Superintendent Paul Schaup and the Board of Education of Mason County East saved me.
Yeah,
and got me back.
Okay. And we'll follow up that after we get back from the break here. So it's wild down in Indianapolis, and I want to talk a little bit about that town too.
Sure.
So
you bet.
Okay, so you've been listening to Leading West Michigan on 102.7 WMOM at home on your Amazon Alexa or Google Home smart devices, streaming online at WMOM.FM, and live video streams on the 102.7 WMOM Facebook page and WMOM YouTube channel. So it's time for our first break here. So when we get back with Dr. Mark Forner, we're going to continue a conversation about Indianapolis and then how you made your way up here to Mason County Eastern.
Great.
Join us for the 40th Annual Gold Coast Artisan Fair, held at Rotary Park in downtown Ludington on August 12th and 13th. Celebrate the 40th anniversary of this event with more than 150 crafters from around the country who will display and sell unique handcrafted items, woodwork, metals, ceramic, jewelry, clothing, paintings, and more. Browse, shop, and spend the day with these eclectic artisans. Enjoy some of the delicious festival food fare that is available on site. Rotary Park is located next to House of Flavors restaurant, just 4 blocks from Ludington's beautiful Stearns Park Beach, and 4 blocks from the heart of downtown Ludington with its own unique storefronts. Hours for the Gold Coast Artisan Fair are Saturday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. For more information, contact the Chamber Alliance of Mason County at 231-845-0324, and check out all the events happening on the community events calendar at www.ludington.org.
Hey guys, it's Andy.
And I'm James.
And we're from Ludington Applebee's.
We're here to share some of our exciting specials with you. Do you have champagne taste on a beer budget?
Look no further. We are introducing our Homers. Take home 5 Mucho cocktails starting at $15. Perfect just in time for summer.
This includes Long Island iced teas, margaritas, Bahama Mama, and more.
If you're interested in behind the scenes of Applebee's, we are hiring.
Andy, what are some things you love about working at Applebee's?
James, I just really love coming into work. I love making sure that all my guests leave happy. They have a good, fun experience when they come in. And I've been there for almost 6 years, so everybody's like family. We all have a good time coming into work. I just love coming in. See you guys.
I agree.
If we sound like a good fit, apply online at Indeed or Applebee's.com.
We're so excited for you to discover Yada Yada Resale. We are a resale store nestled on US 10, right next to Ludington Meat Company. We sell a variety of home goods, furniture, clothing, toys, seasonal decor, and more, with all the proceeds going directly to Covenant Christian School. So come on by, stop on in, or donate your gently used items. We have something for everyone. We're open 12 to 6, Monday through Saturday.
Howdy y'all, Cowboy Colin here with Superior Exteriors. It's finally summer in northern Michigan. That means no better time to get your roof and seamless gutter replaced. And boy, do we have a heck of a deal for y'all. So, what we're running this month, our 10% off gutter has been crushing. You guys are loving that, so we're gonna keep that going. But on top of that, we're gonna offer 5% off all roofing and gutter combinations. That's huge, thousands of dollars. So, give us a call today at 231-907-2882. That's 231-907-2882 and get one of our awesome project consultants out to see if we're a good fit for you.
Mom's Fridge Magnets are community calendar announcements presented by Watson Motors, West Michigan, CMH, McGee Insurance, and Lakeshore Automotive and Tire. Another fridge magnet comes your way next.
Our service team at Watson Motors in Ludington and Manistee will treat your vehicle like one of our own. We're by your side whenever you need car service or repair work done. Watson Motors in Ludington is located at the corner of Dennis and US 10 and in Manistee on Parkdale Road across from Big Al's Pizza.
Did you know getting regular oil changes improves your vehicle's mileage and improves your engine's performance? Clean oil is essential for keeping your engine and all the engine controls running smoothly. Stop by Lakeshore Automotive and Tire in Ludington to have your oil changed.
Hart, Ludington, Mason County Central, Mason County Eastern, Pentwater, Shelby, and Walkerville. Great Start Readiness Program preschools are now accepting applications for fall enrollment in its nationally ranked free program. Families with children who turn 4 years old by December 1st, 2023 are encouraged to apply. Participation is income-based. If your group or nonprofit organization has an announcement that you would like others to know about, reach out to us and we'll add it for free to the Fridge Magnet program thanks to Lakeshore Automotive and Tire, McGee Insurance, West Michigan, CMH, and Watson Motors.
You're listening to Leading West Michigan with host Ryan Howe, speaking with this week's guest, Dr. Mark Forner, Mason County Eastern Principal. Now more of the show on 102.7 Mom FM.
Welcome back. I'm Ryan Howe from Summit Business Guides, and we're continuing our conversation with Dr. Mark Forner, the principal of Mason County Eastern Schools. Now, before the break, we had heard about time in Indianapolis and then your way up here, but I want to take a couple seconds just to go back to Indianapolis. And how was that down there? I know you were going back and forth, right, but about the town.
Well, it's interesting that I was teaching for an alternative ed program, so it was kids who had gotten kicked out of their neighborhood schools, and so So that was interesting. The metal detectors and police on site. So, it was for a first teaching experience. It was pretty tough, but the city is fantastic. We love it. We've kind of considered it our second home because we spent so much time down there. Got to know it's easy. It's easy to get around. Walking downtown, all the sporting events. They host most of the big events and all the different sports. We actually, when the Super Bowl was there, we spent some time down there. One of our sons, Lars, actually teaches at Warren Central, which is a suburb of Indianapolis, and he's probably going to stay down there.
What level does he teach at?
He teaches high school social study. Yeah, yeah. He's a government teacher.
Okay.
So we told him to find a place with a spare room so his mother and I could come down and mooch off him a little bit. So.
I think fair is only fair when it comes to that, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, no. So you got the call and you came up here, and how did the conversation as far as coming up here? Did you see there was an opening, or what ended up happening?
Well, yes, we essentially we built a retirement house on St. Mary's Lake, about halfway between Scottville and Hart. And again, the plan was always for me to come back in the right situation with the right opportunity. One day, there's just scanning the job postings, and it's K-12 principal at Mason County Eastern Schools, and I got real excited about that because, as a kid at heart, a lot of respect for the Cardinals, and we knew it was a strong, tradition-laden school district, and the right size, about 400 kids, and so got real excited about that, and so I applied, and I knew some people. I'd served previously on the West Shore ESD board. Before I went to Indianapolis, I had to step off, but the former superintendent, Jeannie Oakes, was kind of instrumental. I think she made some phone calls behind the scenes.
That sounds like Jeannie.
Yeah, it's kind of opened some doors maybe that wouldn't otherwise been open, and we got real lucky and was hired, and so that was very exciting.
So I guess the question is, because you have I'm hoping we have teachers that are listening currently right now, but that the difference from going from being in the classroom to then now you're in the administration role over there. What was that like as far as that?
Well, it's interesting. There's something to be said for having a variety of experiences, and so people ask me about the difference about teaching in the inner city versus in a rural community. I said, well, in the inner city, our biggest challenge was to get kids on the bus at the end of the day because they didn't want to go home. And here, you have to stay out of the way when the bell rings at the end of the day because there's just a stampede of kids getting to the bus and going home. So, kids are kids, and it's been a wonderful experience. I just love what I do. I love the kids that I'm and the families that I'm working with.
No, that's again. As a Mason County Eastern alum,
full disclosure
there.
Right.
Yes, I have biases on where I was at, but for the core group that we had when I was going through, the group that was ahead of me and behind me and across the board, it's a very unique. When I've talked about my school experience that I had there, because we had basically the same 26 of us from come into kindergarten. We lost one, gained one, lost one, gained one. But for the most part, we were a solid core where I played second base in T-ball. Guess where I was playing in high school? I was in second base, and it was always the same people playing in those areas. Yeah. And I had heard that from some of the teachers as well, though, the fact that they coming in and what was the phrase they used here? We're too small to have cliques.
Right.
I think is kind of one of the phrases there.
Absolutely.
And I guess you probably had to deal with that a bunch down, I guess, in Indianapolis versus being over.
Yeah, and Ryan, that hasn't changed at all. I mean, it's unique. And I get that when we hire teachers who have taught someplace else. And they'll say that is, our kids are kind. And it's not unusual for a kid maybe who will start, and maybe the family's moved in February, and the kid's first day at school, and invariably he or she will be invited to sit at a lunch table with a brand new kids. And in 2 days' time, they just blended right in. It's remarkable. It really is.
Yeah, I mean it just got to be fast friends. I mean, it's really where a lot of the conversations there were always just like, how quickly can we? Okay, you're with us,
right?
Like regardless, you're with us, so we're going to figure it out. So, so we've got a few minutes left in this break here as well, though. So, So when you get up there, what was it like for your first, conversation? Like, have all the teachers together, come and talk to them and explain, like, hey, new sheriff in town, kick in the door. Was it something like that, or what was it like?
Well, yeah, to be honest with you, I don't think I did a particularly good job that first meeting. In hindsight, you guys come in, guy comes in all full of energy, all this stuff. Again, Eastern's a very tradition-laden school district, and we're blessed with a lot of veteran teachers. And it was my error. I came in kind of fast and hot and hard, and that was, in retrospect, that was a mistake. So I'd like to think I've gotten smarter about that. And over time, I spend a lot more time listening now than I do talking. We have very few staff meetings. Okay. When we do, they're very short and very pointed. So I think maybe coming from that business background, that didn't serve me well initially.
So let's just take a second and go back there. So what advice would you be giving to anybody? Let's say, because this is, the show is about leadership as a whole.
Absolutely.
You just happen to be doing it in the school over here in academics. But for somebody who's new in charge, let's say they're showing up to the first, basically management position, and they've got to meet. What advice would you give them? How to prepare for that?
Should do a lot more listening to begin with, asking lots of questions. And I was hired late in the year. It was mid-August, so I didn't. That sounds like an excuse, but I didn't have a lot of lead time coming in. What also happened was that at that particular time, that was 8 years ago, schools were overstaffed. We had to make some teaching cuts. So I'm coming in as the new guy, and at the end of the year, we had to release 3 teachers. Ooh, that puts you, as a new guy coming in, and we've lost 3 of your colleagues. If you're a teacher, going, who is this guy, and what's he really about? So. Again, those are almost case studies in business management, as you know. But as time has gone on, I'd like to think that I've earned their trust. We have a leadership team. It's very informal of veteran teachers, and so anytime we have an important decision to make, I'll go to them and say, "Hey guys, what do you think? Here's what we're looking at." We like to say that again, this is the old business management thing. Whenever there's a problem, we get people coming to with me with problems all the time. It's like, well, it would be nice if you could actually come with a solution too, or an alternative set of solutions. And so we've got a process and structure in place where I'm asking the questions of the staff, and they're directing me. And I think that's made me a more effective leader.
No, I think that's really good advice at listening. So on my on any of my interview things, when I'm meeting with new people as far as potential clients, or I'm just talking with folks, you'll see it and actually on the board meetings I do it too. I'll have the acronym WAIT, WAIT, right on the top of my piece of paper, and it's why am I talking? Like I've been known to run my mouth a little bit, so I have to train myself and say, hey, why am I talking at this point here? Are you bringing value? And chances are pretty good you're not, because I'm not the specialist in these things. Right. But that's where you're going to get your information. So, anybody going new into management, into leadership, anything in a new position as a whole, go in, just be quiet and listen, because the weirdest thing happened before you got there. Stuff was getting done. Business was happening. Children were probably getting educated. So it was good. So, all right. So that's wraps up this block here. So when we get back, I want to talk a little bit more about basically how your ride's been so far, up until your first bit that you've had there. So again, you've been listening to Leading West Michigan on 102.7 WMOM. Again, at home on your Amazon Alexa or Google Home smart devices. Online at WMOM.FM and live video streams on 102.7 WMOM Facebook page, and also on our YouTube channel. All right, we'll see you after the break.
Hey, this is Kim and Kelly from Sister Bees, and we have a big announcement that we can't wait to share with you.
We now offer Michigan-made specialty mead at the Sister Bees Boutique. What is mead? It's a beverage made of honey. It's fermented with yeast. It's often called honey wine. Once fermented, sweet fruit, grains, and other spices are often added.
In fact, mead could be the oldest drink in the world, enjoyed by the Queen of Sheba and King Solomon.
So buzz on into the Sister Bees Boutique. We're located right on South James Street, and we're open Monday through Saturday, 10 to 5.
The store offers fun home decor, products crafted using the beeswax. We have local specialty gift boxes and free tasting of honey mustards, creamed honey, and more.
And once again, come check out our new mead selection. You don't have to be a royalty to enjoy this ancient beverage.
Sister Bees looks forward to seeing you soon.
It's starting to be that time of the year again. Pencils and books, apples for the teacher, and new school clothes. But wait, there's still lots of summer weather left, and the Cedar Chest Consignment Shop has the clothes for summer and back to school and everything in between. We have beachwear, sunglasses for the hot summer days, and hoodies and jeans for when the sun goes down. Whatever you need, the Cedar Chest has it, and prices that are easy as the dog days of summer. So be sure to dress your best for less at the Cedar Chest in beautiful downtown Ludington.
For the freshest sweet corn, go to Renhack Orchards Market in Hart. You'll grin from ear to ear because they pick it fresh every morning. Renhack's early peaches are a sweet and juicy treat. And you can munch on free samples of local blueberries and black sweet cherries while you check out their own nectarines, summer plums, fresh veggies, and more. Renhacks also carry a wide variety of local and Michigan-made foods. You'll get gourmet quality without the gourmet price. Project Fresh, Senior Market Fresh, and credit cards are welcome. And if you use your Michigan Bridge card, you'll get double up Food Bucks tokens for fresh produce at Renhack Orchards Market in Hart. Open 8 to 6, Monday through Saturday. Take US 31 to Hart Exit 149 and go 1 mile east to 3731 West Polk Road in Hart, near the bicycle trailhead. Remember the sweet corn, self-serve after hours, and Sundays as available.
Hi, this is Lori at West Michigan CMH. If you are in crisis, West Michigan Community Mental Health can help. West Michigan CMH provides 24/7, 365 emergency and crisis services to the community. We'll provide options to get you to immediate safety and help you cope with whatever situation you find yourself in. West Michigan CMH services include mobile crisis services for anyone in Lake, Mason, and Oceana counties. We believe that it's important when you call to speak to someone right away, and so you'll be able to speak to a live person 24 hours a day. At West Michigan CMH, our goal of crisis services is to quickly stabilize an individual or family in crisis. We can assist you in ensuring safety and preventing a more serious crisis from occurring. Finally, we'll be able to make a plan for necessary follow-up services. Call us today at 1-800-992-2061. That's 1-800-992-2061. Find other information on our services at wmcmhs.org. West Michigan Community Mental Health, a person-first approach.
It's Leading West Michigan, and we're back with your host, Ryan Howe, on 102.7 WMOM.
All right, so welcome back. Again, we're continuing our conversation here with Dr. Mark Forner, the principal of Mason County Eastern Schools. And before the break, we had just got into the fact that you were hired in, had some issues there. Basically, you were speeding a little bit. It happens to everybody, kind of new in administration. And then end of the year by unfortunately having to downsize a few folks there. So the next couple of years, I'm guessing, we're really like trying to level set everything, because you went from we got too many, now all of a sudden we're getting to the point where there may be not enough. So what was that like, making that transition from those next few years?
Yeah, it was basically the priority was to reassure teachers that we weren't some big corporate manager trying to downsize, that we were trying to right size, and by doing that, try to enhance the long-term financial stability of the district. And so we were able to do that. I also, again, I realized pretty quickly that I had some relationship building to do, and so that's when we started the leadership team thing, and so things got better. But again, we talk about small rural communities. I'm still kind of the new guy. I've been there 8 years, and still kind of the new guy. And so that stuff takes time to build trust and build relationships, not only with the teaching staff, but also with the families. And so I'm just at a point now where I'm feeling pretty good about where we're at.
Oh, that's good. That's good. There's a basically a group of folks that are around here that are in the NFL club. When from this area, it's not from Ludington. It's a group that's here, and again, that small town moat that they tend to put around the fortress, it's served its purpose very well for a long time. But once you get through the gate, you're in.
Exactly.
And that's the thing. You just you've gotta earn your place through there. So, but just as you're getting everything kind of squared away here, so that's 2019 leads into COVID, and now basically all the work you've done necessarily blown up, but you just had to completely shift. So talk me through some of those leadership challenges and what you guys had to do out there.
Yeah, man, it was the darndest thing. So I'll never forget, Ryan. We're coaching. We're in the district's semifinals, and we're playing a really strong Pentwater team, and we played our best game of the year, and we lost. And this was on a Wednesday. We lost by 2 or 3 points. It was kind of a tough game. And then it was the next day, the MHSAA shut down high school sports. So in a lot of ways, we're glad we didn't win that game because we wouldn't have had a chance to play in the district finals. But literally, that was, I think, March 13th was the date, and everything changed. And so it's hard to describe how confused people were, families, the public, and so. I can't say enough about the superintendent leadership in this region. Again, now I've got my ESD board member hat on. The superintendents were in daily contact with each other about what's the threat, what should we do. And so, you've got big urban districts like Ludington, small rural districts like Eastern and Baldwin. So that reality meant different things for each one. So, we Superintendent Schaup and I, we kind of conferred, and our initial thing was we wanted to make sure that our families' basic needs were met. And so we set up food stations, food centers, 3 of them. One at Tallman Lake, one at school, and I actually can't remember where the other one was, where families could stop and pick up food because we were providing 2 meals a day to our kids. Well, we found after about 2 days is that either due to lack of transportation or lack of communication, the families weren't coming by and getting food. So we pivoted rather quickly, which is what you can do when you're a small, flat organization like ours. And we said, look, we gotta deliver food, and we need to do it for 2 reasons. Number one, we need to make sure that the kids and our families' basic health needs are met. But number 2, we want to keep eyes on kids. And so that's what we did. We made that decision, and so we did twice a week. We delivered food door to door. I delivered. My mom helped a couple of times. My wife helped. Superintendent Schaup loaded up his truck, and we literally went. And I can tell you which families have really nasty dogs and which ones don't. But I think the whole process. We talk about relationship building a lot. I think that really was a shot in an arm for our school. I think it was a turning point where, even for me, people saw me. Oh, that's just Dr. Forner. It's not somebody trying to sell me something at the door. And that was, in some ways, that was our finest hour.
No, and that's the number of stories that I've heard time and time again over what we all had to do during those time frames. It was simply just making sure that we're taking care of each other, and those that were responsible for the students. Again, basically, our children took things like an extra step to make sure they're. But again, the rural communities, they have unique circumstances there. What percentage of our students that are out there right now are currently basically qualified for free lunch?
Ryan,
free breakfast and lunch.
Sure. The official number for our district is about 85%, but we still think that underrepresents the actual number.
Yeah, that sounds almost that number hasn't really changed much since when I graduated out of there. Yeah. And so food insecurity, especially again when you're talking where they're not able to travel. Basically the eastern part of the counties, you're heading towards Lake, outer Oceana, those things, where transportation is a real problem in this area. Yeah. And for, again, the superintendents as a whole, but Mason County Eastern, just to realize that, okay, if the mountain will not move to Muhammad, Muhammad must then go to the mountain.
Absolutely.
And to be able to make that happen.
Absolutely.
So how was that received? I mean, how much of the community knew you were doing that? I guess would be the other question.
I don't think I have a good answer to that, right?
Okay.
It's just what I do know is that we spread the word by Facebook and social media, and we didn't ask questions. I think that was probably the best part. We didn't ask questions about what school your kids were attending or district line you lived in, and so we had a number of families who didn't send their kids to Eastern. We still delivered food. We didn't care. It was a time when families and kids were in need, and we didn't ask any questions.
Yeah.
So, I'm very proud of that whole effort.
So then on the back end, as far as getting the education piece going, you still have, got food and bellies.
Right.
Now we need to get basically books and writing in front of eyeballs.
Right.
So what are some of the challenges you had with, again, broadband's an issue out there.
Yeah.
What are some of the things you were able to make happen?
Well, it's interesting. There's nothing like a good crisis to create a sense of urgency. And so in some respects, our instructional delivery modernized quite quickly during that. So you had teachers, veteran teachers who maybe were not used to digital instructional delivery. They didn't have a choice because this was going to be the mean and the mode of delivery. And so you got to give them a lot of credit. Think about that. You've been teaching the same way for 25 years, and suddenly your boss comes and said, "No, we're going online, and we're doing it next week, and you got to figure out how to do that." Again, it was much credit given towards staff. What was cool is that you had teachers teaching teachers how to do that, and so that was a really cool thing to watch.
Yeah, and I'm certain that as great as all that is, and I love the fact with Flex, we're going to still find a way to be able to do all that. It's very apparent throughout the country, and our area is no different, that our younger students lost a year or two as far as where they're at. So, I know that's a focus for basically, a focus for the school and around the area as well, but I did want to, one of the things also is we're having to reteach, and this is something you've talked about, re-inspire students just to come out for sports or extracurricular activities to be able to have that. So, that when you brought that up as far as, hey, we're just trying to get folks out here just to get the interpersonal communications back to even base level where they could be at has been a challenge. So, and that's one thing I will say definitively about the work that you're doing, again, along with Paul out there. The focus is on, okay, how can we we want to be able to make this as round out the students as much as possible to where they have that there. So, we've got a couple, we got about a minute left on here. If there's anything you want to add about the focus for the kids extracurricular you have, or?
Yeah, it's about engagement and building relationships. As the varsity basketball coach, I'm conflicted when I've got a 6'5" kid who's in robotics. I would love to have that kid on the basketball floor, but he's doing something and he's being productive. Yeah. If you're listening, Brandon, I love you. So he's done a wonderful job with robotics. Yeah. But we don't remember the English test we took in 10th grade, but we do remember the camaraderie and the fun and the relationships we had in sports, drama, band, equestrian, all that stuff. So that's the good stuff at school.
Yeah, no, and that's we got about 20 seconds here. We'll be wrapping up this next block here, but it's been great getting back here and seeing the we had out that was at the Odyssey that they had out at Sherman Township Hall. It's just across the board the way you've been reintegrating the students back into, hey, these are the folks you're with, these are who you want to be with, and we're going to be with them for a while. So let's go ahead and move on to our last break, and when we get back, we're going to talk with Dr. Mark Forner as far as for his team and basically what's next on your journey.
Great.
Jamesport Brewing Company is hosting its first ever Blueberry Wheat Fest to celebrate our flagship brew and, of course, blueberry season. There will be live music Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Get a blueberry wheat garnished with fresh local blueberries from Couturier Blueberry Farm. We'll also serve up blueberry mojitos, blueberry dinner specials, and our new Blueberry Wheat t-shirts will be available for purchase. The beer garden and backyard will be full of activities Saturday afternoon and into the evening with live music featuring Dale Wicks, followed by Medium Well. Yard games will be set up, a cornhole tournament will take place, along with a tent with added outdoor seating. Wiener Wagon and Hitchhiker Coffee will both be selling food and non-alcoholic beverages on site. Get all the details at our website, jamesportbrewingcompany.com.
Your heart is vital to your health. Corewell Health's Ludington Hospital has 3 board-certified cardiac specialists right here in Ludington at 7 Atkinson Drive, Suite 302. Talk to your doctor if you have concerns about your heart health. With local cardiology services now available, we make it convenient to get the care you need right here. To learn more or to schedule an appointment, call 231-291-8115.
Troy, do you believe in fortune tellers?
Not really. Why?
Camping's been so epic this year, I need to know if we'll get extra summer.
Is that the deal with the black message pool ball?
All signs point to yes.
Well, summer's always longer when you've got an RV.
Is that true? The ball says yes.
People in RVs can camp all through fall, and we want everyone to experience that. So right now, Bish's RV is throwing a summer forever sale. Get low monthly payments starting under $149 per month on approved credit.
Okay, that's crazy low, no?
Ball says decidedly so.
We're also hooking people up with 90 days of all play, no pay OAC?
Definitely. Plus, all remaining new 2022s are priced to move with no single reasonable offer refused.
And trades are worth like more than ever, right?
No doubt in sight.
This thing is never wrong. Paranormal pool ball. Am I handsome? Better not tell you. Wait.
Extend your season for summer memories during the Summer Forever sale at Bish's RV in Ludington. Open during remodel while we expand our dealership. Bish's RV, where memories begin.
Based on 10% down, 9.24% APR for 180 months. Not all buyers will qualify. See dealer for details.
Looking for events and happenings in the area? Look no further than Mom's Fridge Magnets. Presented by Watson Motors, West Michigan CMH, McGee Insurance, and Lakeshore Automotive and Tire. Another fridge magnet comes your way next.
Is your vehicle getting poor gas mileage? Are your tires tread wearing fast or uneven? How about vibrating in the steering wheel or floorboard when you're speeding up? Have the technicians at Lakeshore Automotive and Tire do a tire balance on your vehicle.
At Watson Motors, we understand your time is valuable. If you prefer to do the process from home, you can start with a trade-in appraisal or a finance application and purchase online. You can even get your vehicle delivered to your home. If at any point you decide you're more comfortable with one of our team members by your side, we're open to pick up where you left off. Watson Motors is located in Ludington at the corner of US 10 and Dennis Road, and in Manistee on Parkdale Road across from Big Al's Pizza.
On Thursday, August 31st, join Centra Wellness Network, Catholic Human Services, Northern Michigan Regional Entity, Harm Reduction Michigan, and Clean Lines Tattoo Company for the annual recognition of International Overdose Awareness Day. At 10 a.m., there will be a proclamation outside of Manistee City Hall on Maple Street. 11 a.m. opening, there will be a moment of silence for those lost to an overdose. This event will have several special speakers like Kurt Vanderwall and Kelly Meckham. To end the day, there will be vendors, lunch, live music, and entertainment until 3 p.m. If your group or nonprofit organization has an announcement that you would like others to know about, reach out to us and we'll add it for free to the Fridge Magnet program thanks to Lakeshore Automotive and Tire, McGee Insurance, West Michigan, CMH, and Watson Motors.
It's Leading West Michigan, and our special guest today is Dr. Mark Forner, Mason County Eastern Principal. Now, here's your host, Ryan Howe, on 102.7 Mom FM.
All right, so welcome back. I'm Ryan Howe, and we're on to our final segment of the conversation with Dr. Mark Forner from Mason County Eastern Schools. So, Doctor, this last little bit here, if you want to talk about the team, anything you have going on there, this is, floor's yours.
So this is my commercial?
Yes, please.
Mason County Eastern, I think I have the best job in the world. I'm married to the best woman in the world, and I've got the greatest job in the world. But we got a lot of good stuff going this year. For a school our size, it's remarkable the number of extracurricular activities that we have. We have a very strong drama program. Anissa Belfast Galumbo heads that, and she's done a wonderful job getting kids out. Kids who are shy and introverted. The ability for her to get them up on stage and actually act, that's been terrific. Last year she coordinated with our band program so the kids actually, it was a joint performance, and so I'm sure she'll have something similar this school year. We're very excited about the cross country season. Our boys have finished in the top 10 the last 3 years, and we actually expect to be a little bit stronger this year. The credit goes to Ben Nizaki putting that thing together. He's been able to, we co-op with Manistee Catholic, and that partnership has gone really, really well. We also partner in football, and so this year we'll actually have some athletes participate at Mason County or Manistee Catholic's football program, and they'll have a number of athletes competing in our cross-country program. And so, for whatever reason, it has to do with our families or the kids' work ethic, but cross-country has been very, very strong, historically strong at Mason County Eastern, and that's a real point of pride for us. And I'm getting ready for basketball season. This will probably be my last basketball season. We've got a kid, Clay Schaup. He and his buddy Zach Howe will be leaders this year, and we expect to win a lot of basketball games. Clay's a 1,000-point scorer. And he's a reason enough just to come out on a cold night in February to watch. And so, our athletic programs have remained very, very strong. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting back to school, believe it or not. So.
Yeah, no, it's like we were talking before we started today. I was like, yeah, a lot of students are like going, oh great, and it's your first day back too, and they have no idea what the principal and the superintendent and the administrative staff are doing there. So
exactly,
that'd be good. So no, as far as on the on the athletics piece there for sure, and then on the academic side though, you guys have been having some successes been out there too. So
we have, and so I think probably we sent out a brag letter, a school newsletter of all the wonderful things going on. I think probably the achievements I'm most proud of is that last year we had 3 teams, a cross-country team, boys and girls basketball, and I think with boys track, it'd be 4 teams, all qualified for academic all-state honors. So the team
that's not easy either.
It's not easy, yeah. So if you can share this with the fellow board members, I don't take that for granted. I don't take that for granted because it's we basically had a team in every season that qualified for that. So we talk, and you hear a lot the term student athlete bandied about in the media. Well, you know what? At Mason County Eastern, that's a real thing. So
yeah, no, and that's I tell you, that was, as somebody who was was an average athlete there. I was I was always just the team player, the part player there, but the focus was always, conversation was like, hey, so let's make sure your grades are where they need to be at for everybody across the board. And it was not uncommon to see folks who were basically skirting the edge of where their grades were at to basically not even start to sit. It's like, until you get this, this doesn't happen.
Well, it's interesting. You talked about the importance of academics, Ryan, and certainly that's our priority out there. But also, what makes our school unique, and I think is one of our strengths, is that we don't think every kid needs to go to college in order to be successful. I know work study is a passion of yours, it's a passion of mine. And so, with the cost of higher education these days, informed parents are starting to question, what am I paying these tens of thousands of dollars for? If my kid can get a CDL and go to work and stay in the area and raise a family and be a good, productive citizen, and so at Mason County Eastern, we talk about that a lot. It's a passion of Superintendent Schaub's and the board. It's like our responsibility is to prepare our kids for the next step. If they want to take advantage of the promise, absolutely, we encourage them to do so. But that doesn't mean they need to go. Mom and Dad need to mortgage the farm in order to send the kids to some state university.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, and from my class I graduated with, we've got plenty of folks who are in the trades and they're doing exceptionally well. Own their own businesses. But, we do have plenty of folks that actually have well past their postdoctorate or postdoc work that they've had to do, the master's degree. So it's across the board, and that was always, again, something that was reiterated to us is like, listen, just end of the day, find what you want to do and be there to support whatever your family looks like, to be able to take care of them. So
absolutely,
it's been great. So we're getting basically towards the end here. So I'm first and foremost, I just want to thank you for coming on here, Mark. When I approached you about this at graduation, I think is when I was like, hey man, I got this thing, right. And you were just like, really? I was like, yeah, I'd like to have you on there, and it was and again, you were like, yeah, absolutely, I'd be willing to do that. So thank you very much for coming on. It's been fantastic.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Yeah,
it's been fun, Ryan. It's been fun.
So with that's about all the time that we have for today. Again, I want to send a special thank you out to Mark for coming out here and sharing that very unique journey that you've had. So I am always looking for new leaders to have on this program and to give them an opportunity to share their stories. I'm interested in leaders of every aspect of the community. So if you know a leader making an impact, go to summitbusinessguides.com/leadingwestmichigan and submit their name for consideration. And if you would like to learn more about what I do to help organizations, visit summitbusinessguides.com. Follow Summit Business Guides on Facebook, or send me a note at ryan@summitbusinessguides.com. So join us next week when I'll be talking with Mark Platt, Hart School Superintendent, to learn more about his journey to become a West Michigan leader.
You've been listening to Leading West Michigan with Ryan Howe, a weekly program where you hear success stories of local officials and business leaders.